Seeing goblins. Appreciating goblins. Succubus with goblins.
And we don't want no problems. Okay, you're a goon. What's a goon?
Yeah. All right. Alex Jones, bring us in, brother. Hell yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Podgoblins. It's your boys. What'd you think, Jaden? I didn't show Jaden that beforehand.
No, man. I love it. I'm glad you're keeping that around. That's fire.
Yeah. Not a big Alex Jones fan, but I like that. Yeah, they're turning the frogs gay. Did you know that?
I did. Oh yeah, brother.
They're turning the frogs gay. What's up, everybody? Okay, listen. I got to get this off my chest right now before we even get going.
Okay.
I have huge tits. No. So.
I know that.
I said that this podcast was going to be like off the wall, less structured. We're going to get wild. We're going to get weird. I meant it. We're going to get weird. I got some video clips today that hopefully are going to make people laugh. That might come out of nowhere that you might go, what in the hell? That is the idea. Also, I want both of us to get animated when we talk about certain things that we're talking about. Like, I'm going to get into it. I'm going for it. You've seen me do it on Unita before, where I'll just go in, just fist, just all the way up to the elbow. And then I might go to the shoulder. I might. It just depends on what you guys can take. So today, Jaden, we were spitballing ideas. Jaden had this good idea of like, dude, what if we like just do an episode? Again, Jaden's 2 for 2 on the episode ideas so far. Like, let's just do an episode where it's like, let's talk about horror movies that we love that seem to get like a ton of crap. And I'm watching my language for the first couple minutes, guys, because YouTube will demonetize your video. But once you get like 5 minutes in, you can say whatever you want. So like, don't worry, guys. The F-bombs are coming. I've learned how to game the system. So like, let's do it. Let's be like, oh yeah, let's talk about this horror movie that I love that everybody hates. And but before we get into that, that's the precursor to what's going to happen today. Jaden, how's it going, man? How's life? How's it hanging? Is it still 3 inches to the right, or
it's starting to go to the left? No. Life's been good, man. I'm really proud of last episode. I think it was a little bit safe, so I'm glad that we're gonna start getting fucking weird here. Or freaking weird here.
You should be good. You should be good.
Okay. All right. Good. But yeah, we got more views than I expected. We got some good feedback, got some likes. So I just want to thank you guys. I'm really excited for episode 2, and I hope you keep it up. I hope you guys keep enjoying for however long we do this. But
yeah, you guys hear that? Jaden wants you guys to keep it up. Make sure you keep it up. If you need help, there's medication you can buy to make that happen. So just putting that out there. Yeah, man, I agree. The thing about podcasts is, so Unita has this built-in audience that Christian and I have cultivated for years now, to where it's like, even if an episode starts off like really like, oh man, the numbers aren't there, like people aren't watching, a week later it's at 1,500 views, like consistently on YouTube. Like that's usually our floor. It's like 1,500, but that's because we have this built-in audience, and part of that is also Christian. He brings some of that in.
Yeah,
I didn't expect episode 1 of Podgoblins to get there, but we're over 700 views now on that one. To launch a new podcast with somebody, that doesn't have a channel, like that's good. I'm going to take that. And these things always too are, Christian always calls these kind of videos evergreen, because they'll just continue to grow, because people like these long form discussion videos. So they'll come back and they'll be watching these, and you'll get a couple dozen views every day. And it just kind of goes and goes and goes like that. But I got a feeling with this thumbnail, with this title, and with the energy that we're going to bring into this one might be the one that puts Podgoblins on the map. So without further ado, Jaden, because, we're sitting here talking about these movies that I can't wait to talk about these movies that I love that everybody hates. It just, it makes me feel like
I'm about to bust.
And I can't. Like, I got to do it. So, Jaden, go first. Give me one.
All right, man. So I'm trying to think of something topical. something that's popular but also super hated and divisive.
Okay.
To kind of ease people in. But I know you and I both love the Terrifier movies.
I'm about to bust.
Yep.
Yeah, that was my reaction to Terrifier 3 in theaters. No, dude, these movies, like, I love how much hatred they get. I always find it way more fun when there's like 50-50. There's people that fucking hate it, people that fucking love it.
Yep.
I'm in the fucking love category. I think 2 and 3 converted me, especially 3. I don't know, man. And anybody who says, and I know you're one of them, so like, fuck you, but anybody who says 2 is better than 3 can lick my asshole, because I just think 3 is like...
Wait. You said these are overhated?
For sure. You don't think they are?
Terrifier 1, maybe. I feel like everybody's a Terrifier fan now, Jaden.
All right. Let me say this. I think that the people that are going to Hot Topic getting that are a certain subset of people. Yeah. But by the general public, I think people fucking hate these movies. And I think movie fans and horror fans hate them more so than other horror movies because they're so extreme. So
okay. All right. Well,
that's my pitch.
Well, then let's just go with let's do it right now. Let's just do one that I love talking about that I can't get enough of. A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, brother. Jackie Earle Haley, Freddy Krueger. Now I'm overselling this a little bit. Okay. I'm not in love with the film. Like, come on. But like, I dig this movie. I have dug this movie since the first time I saw it. I saw it in theaters in 2010, and I was fully erect. And I remember being like, after like, I couldn't believe that the internet was like trashing it, because I was like, if anything, that was just like fine, like run of the mill remake. You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing like insanely offensive to me about the movie. I mean, yeah, there's no Robert Englund, guys. I get it. He can't play Freddy until he's 85 years old or, whatever the fuck. Get over it. But like, I felt like Samuel Bayer brought like a nice, I like the aesthetic to that movie, and he's a music video director. That's what he came from. So like his use of colors and the way he would like the fast editing and cuts and stuff, I liked it in this movie. I thought it worked really well, and I fucking loved the dream world. Like, I loved the dream world. I thought it was the first time we really got to like visualize some of the dream world with like an actual budget. I hear everybody's complaints, and I agree with you. Rooney Mara was not a good Nancy, not because she's not a good actress, because she didn't want to do this movie. She made that very clear. She didn't care. She just mailed in the performance. But Kyle Gallner rips as Quentin. He's one of my favorite characters in the series. Katie Cassidy is great. She should have been the lead, Katie Cassidy, personally. Yeah. And say what you will about the freaking CGI and all this crap of Jackie. I think he was good as Freddy. Like, I liked him as Freddy. So, like, yeah, Nightmare 2010, bro, come at me. I mean, what do you got to say about that one?
Dude, I'm with you. Like, I saw Nightmare 2010 on TV probably not too long after it had come out, like 2010, 2011, something like that. And I was like, I had seen the movies before, but I wasn't online yet and seeing all the bullshit that people were saying about this movie. So I just watched it. I'm like, that was a good time. That's like, I don't know, it's like an edgier Nightmare on Elm Street film. I fucked with it. And I think that horror fans especially have this tendency to like just automatically shit on a remake. Like when it gets announced, when they hear it's happening, the first second they start watching, they start pissing their pants. I'm like, dude, remakes can be good. We've seen plenty of good ones, but even if a remake is bad or mediocre, like who the fuck cares? Like the original is right there. I think they're harmless ultimately. Nightmare 2010 though, I've heard you make this point a million times. If they went the innocent route, it's 10 times better.
Oh yeah.
But with the movie we have, even like with the CGI and Rooney Mara sucking ass, it's still a really good movie.
We don't know if she sucks ass, guys. We don't actually know. I've never been in the bedroom with her. I can't say, so I don't come after us, Rooney's lawyers. But yeah, continue.
No, yeah, I think it's a solid movie, dude. I've never seen it as a terrible movie. I think people overstate that so much.
You want to piss people off more?
Yeah, let's do it.
Nightmare 2010 is the best remake of the big three.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I do, dude. Listen.
No, I know, yeah.
We might talk about Rob Zombie later, just maybe. But that first Halloween, it's okay. Friday the 13th, 09 after the opening is kind of mid as fuck.
Yes.
Nightmare 2010 is a banger, dude. I don't care.
Yeah, there we go. Hell yeah. All right. All right. You know, dude, there are probably so many people right now that just listen to that opening segment, and these people are like,
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
and
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I don't care. Give me your negativity. Jaden, give me another overhated horror movie.
You know what? This one's pretty recent, and I'm testing the waters. I'm gonna see if you're gonna match my freak on this.
You
But
dipping a nut in? Dipping a nut in the lake?
I'm dipping too.
Okay.
I love the Munsters. Rob Zombie's The Munsters,
Okay.
the Netflix film.
Okay.
When that movie came out, I remember online like just everybody saying it was fucking garbage. It's so cheesy, it's hokey, like this looks terrible. I loved it, dude. I don't know. It's like I remember I think I texted you after. I was like, I think that's one of my favorite Rob Zombie movies. And I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know, man. It like I think it's charming. I kind of get where it's a little bit cringy at parts, but like I just think
that's kind of the
performances
point.
are so fun. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
The Munsters is an inherently cringy franchise and show. It's like a kids' family sitcom. I didn't agree with people saying Sherry Moon sucked. I don't think she's as bad of an actor as people say either. I think she as an actress gets overhated. And I don't think she was terrible in that movie like everyone said. I actually liked her performance, but yeah, dude. I gave that movie like 4 stars or something. Like I really liked that movie. What about you?
So when it comes to the Munsters, I can tell you that it did exactly what it needed to do. Like you said, it's inherently cringy. You can't really hold that against the movie because that's the source material. You've got a problem with the source material, if anything. I am someone that doesn't think Sherry's a great actress. I will be honest with you. You've heard me talk about it before, but I will say I like her as Baby in the first 2 Firefly trilogy movies. I did not care for her in 3 from Hell at all. And I liked her as Deborah Myers in Halloween in 07. I think her best bit of acting she's ever done is her unalive self scene in Halloween 2007. She really sold that. I liked that a lot. But yeah, I mean, dude, the Munsters, it was never my jam growing up. The Addams Family was more my jam. And it seemed like there was like 2 schools of thought there. You're a Munsters person or you're like an Addams Family person. I was more of an Addams Family person, but I dug it for what it was. I will say though, I will not rest if that's Rob Zombie's last movie. I will unalive. I'll just because that dude needs to come back swinging with a raunchy, gnarly rated R movie. He's got to do it. I need it for my soul. But yeah, it was solid enough, you know. And now I'm sitting here racking my brain and I'm going like, what's like an overhated horror movie that I love? I don't want to get into Halloween yet because that's what everybody's going to expect from me. I've got some bad takes over the years, man. I really, really do have some awful takes. People say I have terrible taste. And that's fine. That's fine. Oh, you know what? Hellraiser Hellworld is actually kind of fun. And I'm tired of pretending that it's not. So, look, Hellworld, okay, the tagline is evil goes online. Like, come on. Like, you know what you're getting yourself in for. Also, I got to say, the fact that Doug Bradley's last line on screen ever delivered as Pinhead is, how's that for a wake-up call, is honestly cringe as fuck. Yeah. But Henry Cavill's getting a Hummer. Lance Henriksen's in the movie. Pinhead basically turns into a slasher. It's just fun. It's a fun time. It's not a good movie. But it is like your run of the mill mid to early 2000s Drek. We saw so much of that shit. And some of them were fun. And Hellworld is fun. And I'm tired of pretending that every straight to DVD Hellraiser movie is ass. Because they're not ass. No. Deader is a really solid movie till the 3rd act. Because Deader was a movie that was a script that wasn't supposed to be a Hellraiser movie, and they doctored it to make it one. So in the 3rd act, they were like, let's bring in the Cenobites and fucking Pinhead and stuff. And it's like, but this 2/3 of this movie was really interesting. It was this nice mystery, like the Deaders. What is this? But yeah, they don't all suck. And Hellworld, Deader and Hellworld might be the peak of the straight to video era. Actually, I'm going to say they are when it comes to Hellraiser. I think those are the peak of that era.
So I 100% agree. I love Hellworld, and I love it. It was actually one I wanted to bring up. Just the Hellraiser later sequels in general. I love them all. Hellseeker probably the least, but
dude, that movie sucks.
That movie sucks ass for sure.
Yeah.
I fuck with Inferno. I love Inferno. I love Deader. I love Hellworld. I think all three of those movies are so much fun. And I'm like, have you seen some of those Texas Chainsaw sequels? These are not the worst sequels in franchises, dude.
Oh, we'll be visiting Texas here soon.
All right, good. Yeah, no, Hellworld's a fucking blast, man. Like the kills are fun. I kind of dig the twist towards the end. I thought that was actually pretty creative. I didn't expect that when I first saw it. I was like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I agree. Hellworld's rules.
Yeah, bro. I was just that is like the best moment of the Harry Potter movies. So give me another one. Give me one that is hated that you love.
Okay. This one, I can't remember how you feel about it, so I might be on an island here. But one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies is Jason Goes to Hell. Now listen, I get it.
Shut the fuck up! Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
All right, so I guess I know your your opinion. Listen, like I get people don't like the body. You want more Jason. The worm shit's weird. Why are we learning this lore now? I don't care. It's fun. The kills are fucking gnarly. That's some of the best gore in the entire franchise. I love the weird. I forget the hunter's name, but like
Hunter Biden.
Yeah, Hunter. Yeah. There you go. Nah, man. Dude. I think it has fun side characters. I like the people in the diner are fun. I love the main guy who's kind of like.
You like the Jason burgers?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Like this one and Jason X, I have so much love in my heart for both of them.
Don't you put those two together, you sick son of a bitch. Jason X is oh okay.
I'll you know what, you can hit on that later maybe. But Jason Goes to Hell is like, in my opinion, better than like 4 of the first 5 Friday the 13th movies. That's how much I love that movie. And it also has an awesome poster. I know people shit on that. That poster rules. But
shut the fuck up. Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
All right, so I'm gonna set the record straight here. Actually, see, we're not here to argue. We're here to give our takes. So he knows, or now he knows I don't like it. And Mark, Saturn Video, is watching right now, and he's like, fuck yeah, Jaden, I love you because I love Jason Goes to Hell. And Christian is right now furiously grabbing the lotion and the tissues. And like, I'm over here like, it ain't my bag, dog. But one that is my bag is Jason X. And I don't need to dedicate too much time to this because I've actually done a retrospective on this movie on my channel, which actually kind of blew up when I did it like a year and a half ago. I didn't expect it to.
Yeah, dude.
I love that movie. That movie is so much fun. I had a weird relationship with that movie as a teenager, not as a teenager, as like a kid, like a preteen. I would pause that movie multiple times for certain reasons and just, enjoy what I was seeing on screen. And I thought it was fun. And then I was a teenager, young adult, and I was like, this sucks. This movie's butthole. And now that I'm older and I like buttholes, I'm like, this is, this is good. Like I have a fun time with this. And like, honestly, all things considered, like as I sit today, yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, Jason X is a blast. It's a blast and a half. That movie rules. And then I'm trying to think of overhated because I was piggybacking off of that one. And then let's go with, I'm trying to keep this horror, obviously, guys. We said we're going to keep it horror. I'm going to keep it horror.
Yeah.
Black Christmas 2019. Nah, dude, that movie fucking sucks. I'm not going to defend that piece of shit.
Fuck that movie.
Kidding, y'all. Sorry, Rudy. I know you like it. The next one that I think, you know what? Okay. All right, Jaden. Look. This movie gets a lot of hate. It always has. Don't really understand it, but I actually really dig Blair Witch 2016. I actually think that movie is really solid. Now, I think a reason why a lot of people hated that movie or didn't show up for it, had no interest in it, and still they're like, screw that movie, is because they're, Blair Witch Project truthers. They're, I love the OG. I even have a soft spot for Book of Shadows. The fact that this was also mischaracterized for the longest time as a remake makes me so angry because it is a straight up sequel to the first movie. And, but you know what? Every time I watch that movie, I'm like, this is good. And I saw that in theaters and I had a really good time with it in theaters. And there's a scene where she's like crawling under the house and it's like super claustrophobic. She's in these like tunnels and the mud and shit. And like every time I watch that, it just like, it grinds my gears. I think that movie's solid, man. I do.
Yeah, man. I agree. I've only seen it the one time, I think in theaters. I just thought it was fun. I mean, like, I don't love it as much as the original, but I can vibe with you here. I dig that movie. Am I misremembering, or is there, how we're in this trend now where there's a lot of like saggy tittied long woman crawling in basements and shit in a lot of horror movies? Was that in that movie, or am I mistaken that?
Was what in that movie?
Like, all right, let me give you some examples. Barbarian.
Yeah.
Started off in probably like Wreck. You could argue even the Alien Romulus, just these big, tall, pale things with like saggy boobs in horror movies.
Yeah, there was something like that in the movie, and it was really confusing because if I'm not mistaken, Simon Barrett said it was Wingard and Simon Barrett, I think, that made that movie, right? Adam Wingard and writer and director or something like that. I know Simon Barrett. He commented on that, and he was like, "That's not the witch." Like people were thinking, oh, that's the Blair Witch. We're finally getting like the personification of the witch. And he's like, no, that's not the witch. And we would have expanded upon that. I remember his exact quote, I think, from the commentary track was, we would have gone into that more had you guys shown up for the damn movie. Like had people actually gone and seen it and it made money, we would have gone into that in a sequel. So I don't think he ever went into what it was, but yes, it did have something like that where you saw this elongated, like fucking white creature. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's a good one. Let me, I want to keep it strictly to horror. How do you feel about one? So I know this is a franchise you and I both love, and I would consider it horror adjacent. You think that would fit?
I don't know. I don't know the movie yet.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. Fair. So I'm going to go with Jurassic World Dominion. Now listen,
yeah. Just watched that again the other day with my son.
Okay, good. They're not traditional horror movies, but they're giant monsters killing and eating people. So fuck you if you don't think they're at least adjacent.
Well, yeah, I mean the first one was definitely a horror movie, I would say.
Yeah, I would too, for sure. No, Jurassic World Dominion, man, like I just think it got too much hate. Like I think that and Fallen Kingdom, which I guess could have been its own entry too, but Dominion, like, I know it's dumb. I know the Locusts are dumb. I love seeing these characters back. I thought Sam Neill was fantastic in it.
I would say it's him and Laura Dern's movie. I actually think they're the leads, not Chris Pratt.
I do too. Yeah, I just think all the actual like dinosaur scenes are really cool. Like the Pyroraptor, the Therizinosaurus.
Yep.
It's not a dinosaur, but Dimetrodon in the caves and the tunnels. Like I think there's some really cool scenes of suspense and action. And the final fight, even though the big bad dinosaur wasn't that good, seeing the Freddy Krueger claws go through its neck is fucking rad, dude. Yeah.
Have you seen the extended version of that movie?
No, I haven't.
It's the version that's on streaming. And I have the 4K, which also has it on there. And it's definitely my preferred version to watch. It's like 15 minutes longer. Has an entirely different opening. Like it has like a new opening to the movie where it's like back in like the Cretaceous period or whatever. Look, I agree with you. I think that movie got unfairly shit on, and it got unfairly shit on for one reason and one reason only. The fuck is this locust plot? This is stupid. Yeah. Look, guys, I wasn't all that shocked because all of these Jurassic Park movies have been building up to this company, InGen, and extensions of engine doing shit with bioengineering. And up to that point, we'd seen so many like genetically modified dinosaurs. It's like, we got to do something different. So like what's cataclysmic? I don't know. A famine that's caught. Like I thought it was, you're never going to get me defending it. I'm not saying it's a great plot point. Like it's not, but it's the driving force to get everybody to the Biosyn, facility. It creates an awesome visual feast in the third act with the flaming locusts falling down from the sky and catching everything on fire. I think it's a really fun movie. It's the weakest of the Jurassic World trilogy. I'll never, ever, ever argue that. But I walked out of that movie and I was like, dude, that's like 3.5 stars for me. It was fun. Like I'm also just like a kid at heart. Like I'm just dinosaurs. Like, yeah, dude, I'm in. Like, let's do it. And that's why I'm stoked for Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm glad that they didn't let the reviews like hamper them and go, oh, we should take a break, not make any more, Jurassic Park movies for a while. Nah, dude. As long as they're still making $1 billion and making 30-year-old kids like me happy, keep making them. And I will keep showing up to watch them. I don't give a shit. Plus, Scarlett Johansson is in this one. So like, yes, please. So totally agree with you. There's one that I just looked up that I didn't realize was so hated, but it has a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I've always liked this movie. And maybe I'm like, I don't know, lone wolf here, but White Noise with Michael Keaton. I remember we rented that movie as a family and it scared the shit out of me because how many times as a kid did I fall asleep and the TV would go on to the White Noise at some point. And then I'd wake up after I saw this movie and I'd be like, demons are about to come through and fuck my butt. Like I was like not about it at all after seeing this movie. And I've watched it since becoming an adult, wondering if it was one of those movies that I was like, oh, I had nostalgia for this, but it's actually not that good. No, I think it's solid. The fact that this has a 7% is ridiculous. I think White Noise has always been super effective. I love Michael Keaton. Have you seen the movie?
This one I can't say I've seen. I've seen trailers, but yeah, I've never. So what's the plot? Like, I don't even know what's.
So basically, his wife dies. Michael Keaton's wife dies, and he's not ready to let go. So he tries to find a way to communicate with her in the spirit realm. Like he wants to talk to her. He wants to know what happened to her. I believe that's the impetus for it. Like he wants to know what happened. But it's also just largely he's not ready to let go. And in doing so, he's using I think he starts with like the EVP stuff. And then it goes to like white noise through the TV. And like anything in these kind of movies, you can bring in dark spirits if you keep fucking with it long enough. And he brings demons out and they literally like chase him and kill him and he ends up dying. So spoiler alert. But I think it's a really good movie. I do.
All right. Yeah. Man. I'm going to, so I know that one came around like early 2000s. I'm going to hit you with
2005.
All right. You know what? Let me hit you with another 2005 gem then.
Smack me in the face.
I'm going to smack you with it, dude.
All right,
so
let's go.
I'm pretty sure you love this movie. The Boogeyman. Listen, like, I have a lot of nostalgia for 05 to 07 horror specifically. I remember being in my grandfather's den, going on demand on the television, watching these pretty, like, goofy movies. But The Boogeyman always stuck with me, dude. Like, watching it now as an adult, it's not as scary, but that scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Did it make you scared of like it made me scared of like under my bed, of the closet?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It hit on all the primal fears that a kid has, like the closet, under the bed, like dark hallways. Like we didn't fuck with any of that. Like none of that.
Nope.
This movie plays on all of that. Yeah, no, I don't either.
Yeah, I'm still scared of that shit. I don't know, man. As a kid, it was scary. Now it's more fun nostalgia, and I still love it. And I just feel like, people are easy to shit on these 2000s movies, but there's so many bangers.
Yeah, what, Jaden, honestly,
what do you think of The Boogeyman?
I mean, that is a movie that I have a lot of endearment for. It scared the crap out of me when I first saw it. I still think even watching it 20 years later now is like, which is crazy to fucking say that movie is 20 years old, but it's a movie that Yeah, I've got a soft spot for it. I never watched the third one. I remember watching the second one once, and I was like, "Oh, this is ass."
Yeah.
So I can only imagine the third one is even worse. But the first one was really good, and it was crazy. Christian and I were talking about this recently on Unita, and we were like looking up the box office. It's like, wow, that movie was actually like a modest hit. So why'd the second one and third one just go straight to video? Like, made no sense to me. But yeah, it is in that very sweet spot, that era of like early to mid 2000s horror that has I have ingratiated into my life, and it is a part of me. And like, I will not accept the slander. And like, to anybody that does slander, I'm just like,
It's always good for shoulder pain. What? If you lick my butthole.
snap. So yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, man. But the next one that I've got for you, and I know you're going to expand on this one. And I pulled up a list because I was like, I could go for like all the shit that everybody always talks about. Like, oh, we talk about Halloween, and we're going to get to Halloween, sure. But like, I still know what you did last summer. Okay. Listen, y'all. Is it goofy? Yes. Jack Black, his presence alone makes this movie. You're immediately like, okay, wait a second.
Yeah.
You got, I mean, the whole like tropical vacation setting and all, like it's just kind of out there from where we were in the first movie. It is so different.
Sure.
But I have always liked this movie. And liking this movie, now, God, it's not on the same tier as the first one. Let's be real, y'all. But like, I like it. And liking this movie made me years ago think stupidly and wrongly, you know what? I might actually like I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah, fuck no. That movie is garbage. It is actual, like, it's a festering, rotting butthole.
Dog shit.
Just dog shit. But I still know what you did last summer. I think it kind of rules. What about you, Jaden?
I'm with you, dude. I fucking love that movie. And here's where we'll keep with these hot takes. I love it more than the original.
Oh my God.
Better. Listen, I think it's better than the original.
Oh!
Fuck up. Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
Dude.
Jaden!
All right. I like the addition of Brandy's character. I love the island setting. I think the chase scenes are cool. The one in the vivarium or whatever with Brandy is awesome.
It is.
I think there's some cool kills. I love I'm forgetting his name for some reason. The actor who plays Herbert West. I love his character in it. I think the sun thing is kind of gimmicky and goofy, but I can vibe with it. Jack Black, I don't care. I love him in that movie. I think he's fucking hilarious. I don't think he's cringy. I think he's just straight up funny. I don't know, man. The original is a classic. I still love it, but I still love, I still know what you did last summer.
Wait. Okay, wait. So, wait. So you're taking this. You're taking this over the first one.
I am.
Oh! Oh! No! Ah! I was this close to gooning. Oh, God, Jaden. Okay, I'll respect it. All right, get the taste out of my mouth. It's really salty. What's your next one?
All right. This one might be the most controversial one so far.
What the fuck?
No, trust. I dig The Exorcist Believer.
Oh!
Like, I get it. I get where all the hate comes from. It's goofy. There's some there's some shit in it that people saw as blasphemous, but I'm gonna counteract this, right? People love like gore. They love these like weird, like out of place moments in films now.
I'm about to bust.
When it comes to The Exorcist, they get like all holier than thou and they get a stick in their asshole. I find it fucking hilarious.
Nobody wants that.
When that old woman gets her eyes poked out.
That old woman is Ellen Burstyn.
Ellen Burstyn, whatever, dude. I I cackled when she got her eyes poked out. I know people were like offended. People were crying. I love that moment so much.
Wait,
And-
motherfuckers were crying?
Oh yeah, dude. You should have seen the people bitching and moaning about that.
Oh no, I
found
saw
it
people bitching
hysterical.
and moaning about it, but like, if somebody was actually crying about Ellen Burstyn,
Oh, like sad crying.
like
Dude, there's somebody out there for sure.
Ellen, Dios mío, like. Okay,
Dude,
sorry.
And like, no, you're good. And from an actual film aspect, I think the first half of it with the missing kid plot is actually pretty interesting. I dig that. And I think it's because it has sort of a crime element that's a little bit more akin to like Exorcist 3, which is my favorite of that franchise, which would probably be a hot take.
Fuck, I forgot to upload the other clip I had. I just had like a quick clip of Chris Hansen saying, "Why don't you take a seat?" Damn it. I should have uploaded that. No, look, Jaden. Look, I came out of the movie theater with this movie, and I remember doing an out of the theater reaction short that I posted to YouTube before I got home because this movie was all the rage. Everybody was talking about it for good or bad. So I was like, I want to get something out there before I go home and actually like cut together an interview or a review. And I just said like, so I saw Exorcist Believer and I got a lot of thoughts about it, blah, blah, blah. And I remember one of the comments was like, so you posted this? You didn't even give your thoughts? And I'm like, well, it's like a precursor to my review, dog. But I was scared. I was scared to review that movie because that movie was a solid 3 stars for me. It was a tick above average in my opinion. And weirdly enough, it was a stronger 3 stars to where I was like, is this 3.5? Like, do I fuck with this movie more than I'm letting on? And I've watched it one more time since. Only one other time. I showed it to my mom on Peacock last year, one time when she was here. She's a big Exorcist fan. It's one of her favorite horror movies. Mm-hmm. And she actually liked it. And I'm sitting there, and my little sister thought it was scary. And I'm sitting there going like, dude, this movie actually isn't that bad. Like, it's really not. Like, you're totally right. The hate for The Exorcist Believer was some of the most manufactured hate I've ever seen. And we can go into that. People with agendas, because buddy, do they have agendas? And look no further than like The Crow 2024. That's another movie that I've talked about. The manufactured hate for that was honestly disgusting because it's just like you heard it announced and you were immediately like gonna suck. And even if you went and saw it, you did not allow yourself to enjoy anything in it because you already made your mind up. And those voices are always the loudest too. And it was always this fucking, this holier than thou bullshit of like, well, it's The Exorcist. Oh yeah, let's not act like the motherfucking heretic doesn't exist. One of the most boring goddamn movies I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. That movie will put anyone to sleep. It'll put a toddler to sleep. A toddler on speed would fall asleep to the heretic. That movie is boring as shit. And like, we're going to act like Believer is as offensive as the heretic. Just shut the fuck up already. Like, I'm not, you, whatever, have your bullshit take and clutch your pearls and talk about Ellen Burstyn's poor eyes. Go fuck yourself. The Exorcist Believer is fine. It is it's inoffensive. It didn't ruin the original movie. I think it has some good acting in it. I really, really do. Who's the dad? Leslie Odom Jr., I think. He's really good in the movie. I like the little girls. They were good too. And I genuinely, there was 2 things that freaked me out and 1 thing that surprised me in that movie when I saw it in theaters. When she turns the rock over and there's a snake under there, it made me jump. Not going to lie, that was an effective jump scare. And 2, when the fucking demon grabs her, it's like, we choose you or whatever. I was like, I can't remember what the line is, but I was like, holy shit, they just dragged that little girl to hell, bro. Yep. And when the demon played the trick on them and was like, you chose, so now this one lives. I was like, bro, that's fucking wild. Like, overall, the movie's inoffensive. I just went on a rant about it. I hope somebody clips that rant and shows it to their buddies and go, look at this dumb motherfucker with his stupid takes. Yeah, nothing I ever heard before. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Cry about it. The Exorcist Believer, it's solid. I don't care. I'm actually bummed that Mike Flanagan's movie won't be a continuation of that. It's going to be like another starting over, it seems like, because I wanted to see Reagan come back in. I actually really wanted to see that. And I I actually remember in the theater when she showed up at the very end, I actually I got a little choked up. I didn't cry, but I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. Her and, it's the two of them on screen together again after like 50 years. I don't know. That's really cool. Like there was just something about that for me. So yeah, man, I agree. And I just went on that rant. So now I got to pick another movie to get all these people that I just lost to hopefully come back. Let's see.
Let's do it.
I'm trying to find some that aren't as obvious to talk about, because there's still some obvious ones to talk about, y'all. Don't worry. We'll get to some of the ones that I know you're waiting to hear us talk about. There was one that so this one is really lowly, like poorly rated. Don't understand it. I've always liked this movie. Want to know your thoughts on it. The remake of When a Stranger Calls. I've always liked that movie. Like I did not know that was like, a hot take. Like I never once thought like, oh yeah, this movie's like widely regarded as shit, but it has like an 8% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, what?
That's bullshit.
Yeah, like this movie is like actually fun. Like I have it, and I like it. And again, man, like if you don't like this movie,
You know what's always good for shoulder pain? What? If you lick my butthole.
Yep.
It's just like, I think it was part of the reason that I think that this movie is kind of like under the radar, doesn't get talked about enough, is simply just because the fucking like, oh, well, it came out right in the middle of all the remake craze. That was when it was really big. So everything was getting remade. So everything just kind of slipped under the radar. Like The Stepfather. That's a solid remake too. Nobody talks about it. I like fucking balls, dick.
You're a
Yeah. I like that one. I like When a Stranger Calls. Have you seen it? Do you like it? What do you think?
I have, dude. Yeah, I fuck with that movie. I think it's the 2000s remake trend, like you were saying, in the 2000s in general as a decade. That's just the easiest to shit on for people that like horror movies. Like I don't know what it is. People will shit on TCM 03, and I think that's like Texas Chainsaw 03. I think that's a fucking amazing movie and the best of any of those remakes. But
yeah, it's literally the peak of like a remake, like what a horror remake can be. And the fact that there's like hot take artists out there that are like, it's so overrated, it's shit. Yeah. I'm like, dude, go back to your mom's basement, reheat your fucking pizza rolls and beat off. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Yeah, man, it's the same thing. I think these remakes get overhated. When a Stranger Calls is awesome. I even like, and this might be even more of a hot take, I kind of like Prom Night.
Oh, fuck. God damn it. Shut the... No. No. I was hoping you wouldn't say that. Like, I was sitting here like, I really, really, really don't want to have to hit Jaden with
Shut the fuck up. Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
Again, man, but I have to do it. That movie is shit, Jaden.
All right.
I saw that at 14. I took a girl on a date to see that movie. And it was, ironically, I think after the homecoming dance, or it was homecoming weekend or something. And I remember being like, even as a 14-year-old, I was like, oh my God, what is this shit?
Probably a bad time to tell you I also like One Missed Call. But anyways, let me cook up something.
I'm like seething in anger right now. Like I'm literally about to hit you with the... That's my insides right now.
All right,
keep going. Keep going.
This one's going to be a little bit more inoffensive. I'm going to hit you with my next one. I'm not as crazy as Christian, where I fuck with Jaws: The Revenge, but I love that movie. Shit, I love Jaws 3D.
I knew it. I
fucking love that movie, dude. I think the idea behind it is so cool. Like trying to get this great white shark in an aquarium and things go insane. I think that's a cool concept for a shark movie, especially a Jaws film. And it does have one of the worst scenes in the history of cinema when the shark is coming at the glass and it's like the shittiest visual effect you've ever seen in your entire life. That's awful.
It's one of the worst effects I've ever seen in my life. It looks like somebody has like a fucking cardboard cutout of a shark, and they're just like moving it toward the fucking camera.
It's brutal. It's brutal. But that movie, I find so much joy watching it. It's got Dennis Quaid, which is fucking cool. It's got like a really sweet shot, which doesn't make any practical sense, but I love it, where the guy's inside the shark and you see like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't know, man. I just think it's such a dumb, fun 80s movie, and it's always been like a 4-star movie for me, where it's like a 2-star or 1-star for everyone else. But you have any opinions on Jaws 3D?
I think my reaction to some of what you described as you were talking about it is my thoughts on Jaws 3D. I will say I'll take it over Jaws: The Revenge. I will cede that ground. And my Uncle David looks like Dennis Quaid. So like anytime I see a movie with Dennis Quaid, I just think of my uncle. So who, buddy? Oh, okay. Look, a lot of people like this remake. Almost nobody liked the sequel. They liked the remake, how it flirted with like jokey, hokey, over the top BS. Like it was enjoyable enough for a lot of people. They felt like it walked that line perfectly. And then they felt like the sequel to the remake way overdid it. I'm sorry, but I dig the shit out of Piranha 3 Double D. And I'm not going to let anybody say otherwise. David Hasselhoff as a lifeguard at a fucking water park. Piranha getting into a water park. Ving Rhames, doesn't he have a shotgun leg? Pretty sure he has a shotgun leg.
Yeah.
Boobies galore. Boobies everywhere. I mean, they did not disappoint with that title.
Nope.
Look, Piranha 3 Double D is brain rot levels of stupid. Like, you have to stretch your brain. If you're even trying to explain it, you've lost the plot, buddy. But it's fun as shit. It's so fun, and I'm tired of that movie getting. People don't even talk about it. They don't really talk about Piranha 3D. Let's be honest, but they definitely don't talk about Piranha 3 Double D. That movie's fun, dude. I like it.
I'm with you, dude. I love both of those movies. Is Piranha 3 Double D? Is that the one with Richard Dreyfuss? Isn't he in that?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, like cool cameos, like, and honestly, like those original Piranha films are not sacred to me. They're not good movies at all. I kind of prefer.
You don't like Jim Cameron's Piranha 2?
I can't say that I do. I'm not a big Flying Piranha fan. But yeah, man, I saw those at such a good age, because like now I can appreciate them for the
the remake is the most fun Christmas horror film. I think both of those things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
And furthermore, I'm happy to see people coming around to it in recent years. And they have been. I really remembered I had a tweet that like kind of popped off a little bit this year when I said, I tweeted like maturing is realizing that Black Christmas 2006 absolutely fucks. And some people were replying and like, I've always known this. So I had to like put a follow up to my tweet and be like, guys, I'm not saying I just realized this. I'm more speaking to the fact that I'm seeing people wake up to this fact, and it's really cool. They are maturing, and I appreciate that because I've loved the movie since the first time I saw it. Did I need to see Billy banging his mom? Probably not. But
No.
Everything else, aces, baby. I love that movie. You'll get no pushback from me on that. None. That movie is a banger, and 2019 doesn't exist. So, okay, let's see. What's another one that I want to pull out? Because okay, I'll do one of the big guns now. I'm going to say this, whatever. I don't know, Jaden. I mean, you know what? Let's just make this about a director.
Okay.
Rob Zombie kicks ass.
He does.
Like, Rob Zombie is a great filmmaker. And the fact that anything this guy touches, there's like 30% of the population that is immediately up in arms like, this is going to suck. This guy sucks. It's already awesome because every Rob Zombie movie, even if it's a fucking PG remake of the Munsters, is going to explode the internet. So like, you're doing something right, Rob. But like, he's just a great filmmaker. Like, he just is. You can argue, and I have argued over the years, and I will agree with you that some of his dialogue, could probably use another pass or 2 or 15, and maybe another co-writer. But I think he tells good stories, dialogue aside, mostly. And I think visually, oh, dude, the guy is a student. He's a student of the game. He knows horror, and he's shown so much range, bro. He did like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre tribute with House of a Thousand Corpses, which is basically like this frenetic, horny music video, the whole movie with a little bit of Satanism in there. That movie ruled. He did a road movie with The Devil's Rejects. He did Halloween. He did The Munsters. He did Lords of Salem, which I really wanted a more cohesive ending to that movie. It really goes off the rails in the last 10 minutes. Having said that, though, this guy is a damn good filmmaker. And I feel like the dude is literally just hated because he touched Halloween. It was from that moment. You can go back in time, bro. Devil's Rejects got pretty good reviews, especially by people, not necessarily critics. People tended to like it. Rob Zombie was making a name for himself. A lot of people loved his music. They saw his 2 first movies, and they were like, this guy's pretty solid. Then he touched Halloween, and that's when everything changed for Rob. Look, Rob Zombie is overhated, and you know it. You sitting there listening right now, you are a Rob Zombie hater. You. I'm looking right at you as you're typing right there. Wipe the grease off your fingers. Finish your diatribe in the comments. Tell me why I'm wrong. But let me tell you something. You're wrong. I'm not saying you got to like Rob Zombie, but you and I both know you got a hate boner for him, and it's gross. It's sick. You're sick.
Yeah, dude. I agree with everything you said. I think, listen, you and I love the Halloween franchise. We love those movies, and it might be one of the bitchiest fan cultures within horror. I mean, Halloween fans are awful, and I love these movies, but the fans are fucking brutal.
Scream is now worse. The Scream fan base is now worse.
Yeah, Scream is terrible for sure. But as 2 people who grew up in the 2000s, 2010s, those eras for Rob Zombie's Halloweens were truly horrendous. You could not talk about those movies without people shitting on them. And I'll admit, I hadn't seen these movies until fairly recently, and I kind of always figured that everybody was right. I was like, oh, these movies are probably shit. I heard Michael talks in one of them. That sounds terrible. But thankfully, you converted me, at least on Halloween 2.
I made Jaden transition, guys. Transition to greatness.
Dude,
Let's go.
I've transitioned. I'm a Rob Zombie fan now, baby. Especially Halloween 2. That's my favorite of his films. And it wasn't that I hated the movie, it's that I just hadn't seen it. So I didn't really give it the time of day. But when I watched it, I'm like, this is like a top 5 Halloween movie, dude. Like, I don't care what people say. Like, this is better than the original Halloween 2. This is better than fucking Halloween 3. This is better than all that shit. This is like a legit good movie. And sure, it has some cringy dialogue, white trash dialogue that's just in every Rob Zombie movie. But
Yeah,
it's
but
not
2
as bad
is-
as the first.
Oh God, no. 2's dialogue is way better. Way better.
Yeah.
I think some of the trashy dialogue in 2 actually works better. Like when Howard is taking out the trash and he's like,
Oh,
"Can
yeah.
afford the new tits? Can you loan me some bones or enjoy the herpes?" Like
Yeah.
that. It works better in that movie.
Yeah. It definitely felt forced in the first. I felt like it was in that first movie, which I still like. I get more of the hate for that one than 2, though, because I feel like in that first movie, you kind of feel Rob almost like forcefully putting his stamp on Halloween, like especially with the.
Would you say that he's putting it in your skull? Would you say that you could feel Rob's skull fucking you?
I definitely felt skull fucked after watching that.
Could you feel the tip in the back of your cranium?
I could.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify for the audience.
And I'm with everybody. That's one of the worst pieces of dialogue in film history. But the actual remake,
Sorry. Go ahead.
it's miserable, dude.
All that fucker does is cry. You know, one of the worst parts about that scene, I think, is Judith jerking off the syrup. Why would you do that at the
Yeah.
fucking breakfast table with your family? Like,
Yeah.
what the Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Even Lori, like when she's fingering the bagel or whatever. Yeah. It felt out of place. It just felt like white trash to be white trash. But 2 is, I don't know, man. 2 has good drama. It's got awesome kills. The dream sequence is amazing. That movie fucking rules, and it helped me realize Rob Zombie is an actual talented filmmaker. And now he's somebody where most people are like, ew, Rob Zombie film. I'm salivating whenever I hear one get announced.
He needs to stop doing music because that's not entirely, guys. Chill. What Rob does is he does music, movie. He's always talked about that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's touring right now, or he's touring later this year. Hopefully, when that is wrapped up, he gets back
Movie,
into
baby.
another movie because I need another Rob Zombie movie, if for no other reason than to watch all of you crybabies melt down on the internet. Like I just need it for my soul. Like it feeds me. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I got one.
All right.
I'm gonna save my coup de grace, my last one, for a little bit till the end, guys. Don't worry. There's one that you're probably waiting for me to talk about. I haven't talked about it yet. It's coming. And it's not Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, because we just heaped praise on Rob Zombie in general. So don't worry. I agree the design is bad. I agree that it was confusing for a lot of people because we had 2 different iterations of the character going on at one time and people felt like it was a betrayal. I also feel like cry about it. Child's Play 2019 is actually kind of awesome. And the fact that movie just gets shit on at every turn simply just because, it reminded me of, and before y'all come at me, I like his movies. Okay. But it reminded me of like the Snyder Cult. Where as soon as this movie was announced, almost like a lot of Don Mancini truthers were like, boycott Child's Play, fuck this movie, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, why can't we have both? Like, if the TV show's doing well and it's getting renewed for seasons, great. If the remake does well and it gets a sequel, great. We have 2 Chuckies. Like, what? Everybody wins. Like, you've got a new generation watching this new iteration of Chucky, and the old heads that grew up with it still watching the Chucky they love, or at least they thought they loved until Don Mancini got a little overzealous. But whatever. I think that movie, again, I'll agree, the doll design I think is pretty much shit. But I really like the kid who plays Andy. I really like Aubrey Plaza. And I think that she works in the movie. I really do. There's some gnarly ass kills in the movie.
Oh yeah.
I love Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky. I love the Buddy song. Like, it's just, and I love that Mark Hamill actually sang it. That was awesome. I walked away from that movie being like, I wasn't like, oh my God, I love that movie. That's my Chucky, hashtag my Chucky, but I was like, I want to see a sequel to that. Like they integrated technology really well with it in that third act where like shit was going off the wall, dude. And I was like, this is gnarly. You got bears like eating people. It's like, fuck yeah. It was a fun movie, man. It really was a fun movie. And that is another example, I think, of the type of movie that was just manufactured hate before people even saw it. And it just irks me, man, to no end that exists. And I know I'm fighting a losing battle. That shit's never going to change. As much as I can sit here and say to every single one of you guys.
Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
You are, in fact, not going to shut the fuck up. So whatever. But that movie rules. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I do like the Child's Play remake. And like we've talked about it through this whole video, because you and I love a lot of remakes. Remakes just get shat on immediately. 2019 is a fun movie. I think it's it was already too late for a sequel like a couple of years ago. It's definitely too late now, unfortunately. But Don Mancini, although I can respect a lot of his work, he kind of killed the franchise for a long time. Seed of Chucky is one of the worst movies ever. And that is a movie where I don't care if you love it, it is not good. There is a swell of people coming out for this movie. It's still shit. It's always been shit. It always will be shit till the end of time. But it also effectively killed this franchise for fucking 9 years. And then Chucky, one of the big icons of horror, became like straight to DVD, whatever.
And
I like
Curse,
Jaden,
but
it's not as good.
Well, I'll say that Curse of Chucky fucking rules. But I want to clarify to everybody right now. I don't dislike Seed of Chucky for your stupid bullshit reasons. I love my trans brothers and sisters and all my friends across the binary lines. All right. That ain't it at all. I think it's a bad movie. But like Jaden says, you can love it. That's fine. I love movies that are objectively bad. They're just objectively bad movies. So let's not confuse the two, y'all. Nobody come at us like, oh, you fucking... No. Okay. Yeah.
No.
Continue.
No, yeah, for sure. I can appreciate it from that lens, but that movie sucks. It led to the death of one of my favorite franchises. And although we've had films since, they're not the same. So seeing Child's Play 2019 in theaters, seeing Chucky back in theaters was such a big moment for me because I love those movies as kids. And the TV show is okay. The seasons and episodes are kind of wishy-washy for me, but I have a lot less faith in this movie that they're supposedly developing based off of the TV show versus if we had gotten a sequel to 2019. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. Me personally, I think it's time for Don to hang it up with Chucky. And I respect the hell out of what he accomplished with the character. And I think that it should never go unnoticed and it should never be underappreciated what he did for the franchise. And I'll always have respect for Don. And I love every Child's Play movie up until Seed. Then I love Curse. But here's the thing with Don. Seed. Curse. Hey, boner. Cult. Season 1. Okay. Season 2. It's just like this guy. It's just back and forth. It's freaking yo-yo, dude. And it's just like, just give me a new voice. Just give me a new voice. Yeah. I'm sorry. Even if Wes Craven were still alive, I don't know if I'd want him directing Scream fucking 7. Okay. I think there is a benefit to having a new voice come in every now and then and continue something that's already established. You get variations, and I like that. So maybe that's the reason I was partial to 2019, because there were some variations. There's new stuff. I liked it. Whatever. Jaden, give me another movie. We pissed off all the Seed of Chucky truthers. And I know some of you guys are watching, and I love you guys. I do. I love you. And we've talked about this over the years. Some of my friends, Mark, Rudy, we've talked about it. I get it. I respect that you guys have a soft spot for that movie. And I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to imply that I'm somehow superior for not. Fuck no, dude. I like some absolute shit. Okay. But I'm never going to get behind that movie. And I just think that Don Mancini needs to go off to pasture, not die, but just go off to pasture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my next movie is one that I feel like kind of has the Nightmare 2010 effect, where people think it's like one of the worst pieces of shit ever made. But I kind of fuck with Carrie 2013.
Okay.
Now, the original Carrie, I don't think you're ever gonna top that. But I recently got like,
can you bottom it?
you can definitely bottom it.
Okay. Cool.
Have you seen 2002?
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, 2013. I just watched it for the first time a couple days ago. Scream Factory put out a 4K, and it's not bad, dude. Like, I kind of get where they're coming from, where they're saying that the main girl in it is a little bit hard to take as an outsider, but it's got solid acting. It's got good drama. I love the mother's performance. I think it's maybe not as good as the original, but it's pretty close to it with its creepiness and like how like traumatic all that is. And yeah, I mean, you'll never catch me not liking an ending scene in a Carrie movie. What about you? Do you have any thoughts on this movie? I don't think I've ever heard you talk.
If you guys are just listening to this, you just missed some gold, some visual comedy gold. I've actually said this, and I've caught some shit for it. So naturally, I'm going to double down.
All
I
right.
prefer Carrie 2013 to the original. Yeah, I actually think this is one of my favorite remakes. I don't know if it's Julianne Moore as her mom. I think is great in this movie. Chloe Grace Moretz. Yes, she is like conventionally an attractive person. So like trying to like, I get why people are like, oh, well, trying to sell her is like, yeah, but it's not like Sissy Spacek is ugly. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they're just. I still think that Chloe Grace Moretz has this thing about her where she does look a little odd. Like, I don't think she looks like cookie cutter. And I also think they really played it up well in this movie with her like fashion and her personality, or I guess you could say lack thereof, to why even if she is more conventionally attractive, you understand why she's a pariah, because everyone's like, this chick is weird as fuck, dude. Like, that's not the person you're going to walk up to. She looks like fucking Amish, which, you know, shout out to my Amish brothers and sisters that are not listening to this because you don't have technology. You're probably fucking churning butter right now. But yeah, I love that movie. I do. And I think that movie, that Prom Night Massacre, is some of my favorite, just some of my favorite revenge porn I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, when she gets Chris, I love every second of that. And she had it coming. That chick was willing to kill Carrie, kill her, because she couldn't go to prom. Like, you deserve the worst death. So, yeah, dude, I dig the shit out of that movie. You will get no argument from me there.
Good. I want to make one more point real quick. Did you also think Judy Greer was weirdly flat as shit in that movie? Like, her performance? She's very awkward in it.
As Desjardins. Yeah, but again, man, I don't know what it is. I feel like it kind of works. Like, I feel like all of the women in that movie are kind of that way. Like, from Chloe to Julianne Moore to Judy Greer. Plus, I think Judy Greer is just mostly flat in like everything that's not a comedy role. I'm just going to be honest. I think she does comedy really well. But when she's doing like serious, it is very flat, but at the same time, like, it's not flat in the point where it's like, oh, this is bad acting. No, it's like she's making a choice with her character. And it's almost like you can tell it's not her comfort zone, but most of the time it still works. It's not a standout. You're not like, oh, Judy Greer was great in that movie. Like, I think about Halloween Kills specifically. And I'm like, there's some shit in that movie that just comes across so flat from her. But at the same time, I'm like, but she wasn't bad. Like, it's this weird area she lives in. It's like the Judy Greer sphere. I don't know, but yeah, I agree with you.
All right. What do you got?
All right. So I want us to do one more each, and then I'll have my coup de grace, my granddaddy of them all, and then if you have one that you really, really want to go in on. So before we get to the coup de grace, my next one, I'm trying to rack my brain here. I'm trying to think about some series that I love. Oh man, I'm trying to think of ones that are like really controversial. Maybe not even necessarily like really controversial, but oh Lord, let's see. Oh, okay. This one's easy. So, this movie is unfairly hated. Most, if not all, people would say this is the weakest in the series. I don't get it. I've never gotten it. From the first time I saw the movie, I liked it. It's not my favorite in the series. No, but most people would say it's the weakest of the series. Strong disagree. I actually really like Insidious Chapter 2. Like, I really do. And I don't even know why so many people don't like it. Like, it's always been one of those ones that people don't like that I'm like, but why? Like, it just, that it's something about that just doesn't sit right with me because it's like, I don't particularly find anything about this movie like offensive. It feels very similar to the first movie. It feels like a nice follow-up. Like it in the same vein of the first movie. Not as scary, of course, but like I like the Parker Crane character. I think that the Bride in Black. I think that was cool. There's a scene in this movie that is super effective, and again, it is like peak James Wan. He can do this better than anybody else. That scene in the walls of the house with all the bodies with the sheets over them and shit.
Oh yeah,
like
dude.
that had me on the edge of my seat the first time I saw it. I was like, bro, these things are gonna come alive and like attack people and shit. Like and then the scene made me jump in the theater where the mom just smacks Rose Byrne. She comes out of nowhere and she's like, oh my God. But it's a really good movie. Like, I don't know why that movie gets so much shit. So yeah.
No, dude, I'm with you. Honestly, I didn't even know it did until you just mentioned it. But
oh yeah, most people would say it's the weakest.
That's insane to me because Insidious Chapter 3 is boring as fuck.
Insidious she gets hit by the car. I laughed out loud in the theater.
Yeah. No, Insidious 2 is my favorite in the franchise, like by far. Like I didn't even know. Maybe it's because I'm not in tune to the Insidious fan base. Like I've never really talked to many people that even like talk about those movies. But I don't know, dude. 2 did a little bit more for me than the original. I thought the original is like, I expected it to be scarier. I found some things goofy. I found the ghost kids running around a little like corny.
It's like a fucking leprechaun.
Yeah, it's not scary to me. It's like
oh yeah.
2. I think it's the perfect amount of creepy. I think it's got the good balance. All the characters put in, good performances. And 3 exists, and I haven't seen The Last Key, so I can't speak to that. But
Have you seen The Red Door? Yeah, you like The Red Door. Yeah,
I like The Red Door. Not as much as 2 though. That's my favorite. I agree with you. That movie rocks. All right. So this one I don't think you will agree, but I am a big proponent of the Leprechaun in the Hood duology. Now, I understand people really hate these movies, and I don't know if they lean too far into them. All right, hear me out. All right, I think everything in the first movie with Ice-T is fucking hilarious.
Awful.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I love the rapping. Like, I love that story. I think it's one of the more interesting subplots and more sincere, even though it's a Leprechaun movie. I'm like, I can kind of get into these characters. Like, I get their story, whereas, like, a lot of these don't even have characters that you would give a fuck about. The cross-dressing stuff maybe hasn't aged well, and I never liked it, but Lep in the Hood is a fucking banger, dude. Anyways.
I don't have the energy to argue with Jaden on that bullshit. I'm trying to remember the end where like isn't Ice-T like doesn't he like supposedly get shot? And it's like one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in my life. Like it's so fake, it's so poorly done. Yeah, it is god awful. That movie is the pits. I think the only Leprechaun movie worse than that is Origins. And because that's not even a Leprechaun movie, that's just fucking Hornswoggle, like running around like a little demon, butt naked, like goblin demon, Podgoblin, # copyright. Okay. My coup de grace.
Okay.
All right. I've sung this movie's praises for as long as I've lived. And by as long as I've lived, I mean 2022. I have defended this movie I defended this man. I defended everything about this. This movie, it took me over to see a copycat Michael Myers. It's just something that you never think would work. And I'm here to tell you that Halloween Ends not only works, but it's top 3 in the Halloween franchise. And even if you don't agree that it's that high in the franchise, I will say this. I think it's an inarguable fact that it is overhated. It is inarguable that it gets more hate than it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
It is another example of expectations versus reality. And a lot of people had expectations for that movie, and the reality did not meet those expectations. And therefore, they took any merit that movie had, and they just threw it out the window. They said, no, we didn't get Michael Myers versus Laurie for an hour and 40 minutes. I just wanted that the whole movie. Yes, 2 geriatric fucks just getting in fights and, whatever. That's fine. Halloween Ends is when David Gordon Green was allowed to get weird. Was allowed to actually make his own Halloween movie. Halloween 2018 wasn't his own Halloween movie. Let's be honest, guys. There was a lot of beats he had to hit on. It just what? You're revitalizing it with iconic characters. It's a requel. You're going to have to hit similar beats. You're not going to be, it's like Rob with his first Halloween. Respect the effort, but this isn't your baby. It truly is, and clearly is not. Halloween Kills was your weird bridge movie where, okay, we'd announced it's going to be a trilogy. We kind of have a general idea of what the ending's going to be, but we don't know how we're going to get from A to B. So we have this weird movie in the middle there. Let's just kill a bunch of people. Halloween Kills is fun. Don't get me wrong. I would take it over 2018. It's just more fun to watch. But Halloween Ends is the most movie out of the 3 when it comes to an actual original plot, actual character arcs and character development for the first time in this freaking trilogy. Let's be honest. We don't learn anything about Allison in 2018. Nothing. She's so fucking cardboard, just there. She's a fucking stand-in. So many characters in the 2018 movie are, because all of the focus is Michael and Laurie. And then you get Sartain. Who the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, there's so much that I love about Ends because, if nothing else, I actually got fleshed out characters. I gave a shit about Allison. I gave a shit about her. And up to that point, I didn't give 2 shits about her. I loved Corey. I think Rowan Campbell showed, whether you love the movie or not, he's a damn good actor and he has range. And I want to see him do more stuff because he was great in that movie. And I never thought I would have been okay with somebody else donning the mask and the jumpsuit. Actor wise, somebody not being Michael Myers. But I think the way the movie handled it was right because his modus operandi was different than Michael. You could tell when it was Corey. We knew, but it was different. And Corey only went after people that wronged him or wronged Allison. It was very calculated. And I loved the symbiotic relationship between the two, when in reality it was Corey was you think the whole time that Michael is or Corey is feeding off of Michael, but in reality Michael's feeding off of him. Corey is the motivation that gets the old man out of the fucking sewer. I love the movie. I love the movie. Whether you love or hate the movie, I think all of us can agree it gets unfair shit. It just does. It is not the worst movie you've ever seen. You are lying. You're lying to yourself, or you haven't seen many movies. But I think you're just lying. So yeah, that's my end point.
All right, man. Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Halloween Ends, dude. It took a couple times for it to really click. My first thought out of the theater was that was weird. Not that I hated it. That was weird. It's a good movie. I agree that it's a weird cap to a trilogy. I think marketing kind of fucked it. There's a lot of other things that messed it up. The order of the trilogy is maybe not what it should be, but it's a great fucking movie. Good performances, the best performances in that entire trilogy. Some of the coolest kills too. And yet seeing Michael charge up in the sewer is one of the coolest images I've ever seen in a Halloween
I got
film.
goosebumps in the theater. I got goosebumps. And I misread it and everybody thought it. They were like, oh, he's gaining strength. And the writer, Paul Brad Logan, was like, no, he's getting aroused. Like that is what that is. It is him it's waking him up. Like his body is like feeling it like, oh, fuck yeah. And Paul Brad Logan said that was like, because that's like a serial killer thing. They get off on this shit. And like when you haven't done it in a while, you're kind of like, it's like you're hitting those old receptors again. And you're like, oh shit, god damn, I just creamed in my khakis. Like it's, yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna hit you with my final one. I'm glad we're sticking to Halloween. You've talked at lengths about this movie. You got it. Halloween fucking 5, dude. That is one of the best Halloween movies. It is my second favorite. It, to this day, it gets maybe the most shit out of the franchise. I mean, whenever you're pointing to like worst Halloween movies outside of Resurrection, fuck that movie. But outside of Resurrection, Halloween 5 gets, everybody hates that movie. It's insane to me. It has some of the best, maybe the best chase sequences ever in the house. I mean, they are like super suspenseful to this day. Even though I know what's going to happen, I get tense watching Jamie run through the house, go in the like laundry chute. Yeah, I think it's all so well done.
The woods chase, with the car, that's like, dude, he's chasing fucking children, like children.
Yeah. It's one of the darkest portrayals of Michael Myers. And even though people will always call it corny, I kind of dig that scene where she's in the coffin and she says uncle and the tear comes. I just thought like that's such an interesting moment. Like I wish
it's dark. She's accepting her fate. That is really dark. Like she's like, I'm gonna die, so let me try to get through to his humanity before he kills me. Like
and that kind of ties into 6 a little bit, where you see this person that's like chained by something. Michael is like, there's something else. Like there's still a person in there. So that always interested me. I just think it's one of the most unique and interesting Halloween sequels in like over 2, which is kind of boring now, to be honest. I love that movie, but it's still boring.
The middle portions of 2 drag, man. They really
It's a slog. 4 is so safe. 3 is fun and interesting, but it's not a Michael film, and that I think kind of brings it down a little bit for me. 6 is way too much of a mess, and I still love it, and I still think it's great, but it's more of a mess than 5. H2O, again, too safe. Like the rest of the franchise, you can keep going. I think 5 is overhated. I think it should get more reappraisal, and yeah.
Let me just say this too, Jaden, on Halloween 5. People hold so much against Halloween 5, mainly the Man in Black. And that is like one thing that people will always hold up as why Halloween 5 is garbage. It makes no sense. Guys, they don't even try to explain it in 5. He's just a background character. He doesn't affect the plot at all, except at the very end when he breaks Michael out. If you have an issue with the Man in Black, the explanation and all that, you have an issue with Halloween 6. You don't have an issue with Halloween 5. They just introduced an idea. They gave you nothing about it. They were just like, okay, so there's this. Figure that out. You can't, yes, you can hold it against 5 for saying, well, they introduced it. And so like, if that character was never introduced, okay, I'll hear you on that. But that doesn't make the narrative of 5 weaker, because he doesn't play into the narrative until the very end. So look, Halloween 5, I love Dominique Othman and Gerard's direction in the movie. I think that you watching that movie, you can tell it has that European flair. It's different. It is so different. Whereas Halloween 4, it is totally cookie cutter, like American horror from the 80s. It just is. It is. And I know that so many people love that movie. And I swear to God, most of that's nostalgia. And I will die on that hill that most of that is nostalgia, because I don't think there's anything about Halloween 4 that is as audacious, as risky, as memorable, aside from the end with Jamie. I will give you that, as Halloween 5. Halloween 5 has balls. Halloween 5 has flavor. Halloween 5 has just about everything that you could want for a 5th movie in a slasher series. We're not going to get too long in the tooth here. We need to do something different. Let's not do the same shit over and over and over again. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay, we learned our lesson. If it does work, awesome. We learned we can do weirder shit.
Yeah.
I have always had a soft spot for the Halloween movies that get weird, because I think that I have always liked to see different iterations of the character, different takes on the character, different directions for the franchise to go. I do not want to be bored to fucking tears. And if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're boring me to tears. And I will just say this. my final statement on this episode. Tina shits on Rachel. A huge
Hell yeah.
diarrhea duty all over the character of Rachel Carruthers. And you can argue with me all you want, but it ain't going to change facts. And facts don't care about your feelings. So I said what I said. Jaden, you got anything else?
I think you wrapped it up in a nice little bow. Tina does take a shit all over Rachel. I dig Rachel, but Tina's that bitch.
She is that bitch.
All right, so Nick, now that we talked about some movies that we love that people hate, I want to mention what you guys can expect next week. So, for those of you who don't know,
we're going to make out on camera. It's just going to be an hour and a half of us making out.
Yep. Love Story is going to play in the background.
Yep.
So, this week, Blumhouse's The Wolfman comes out. And it's the first major theatrical horror film of the year. And we kind of wanted to tie in to this film. So episode 3 of Podgoblins is going to be all about werewolf movies. Yes. We're going to talk about our favorites.
Twilight.
You got it. Our least favorites. Some that we think are pieces of shit. Some that we think are underrated, overrated, just mid, honestly. Mm-hmm. And we'll cap it off. We'll cap it off with our thoughts on The Wolfman, because we will have both seen it by then. We got a week to see it, and I just thought tying it into that would be pretty great. And I feel like werewolves don't get talked enough about, and they're fucking awesome. So
they don't. So if you guys want to hear us talk about some hairy Saxon schlongs of half dog mans, come back next week to Podgoblins, where we're gonna get weird, we're gonna get wild, we're gonna get wet, and most importantly, we're gonna goblin out or whatever the fuck. I don't know. So
we got to work on that.
If you guys like this episode, please make sure to leave a like on it. Comment down below and let us know how much we pissed you the fuck off tonight. I hope I made you so angry. And if I did, just know one thing. I'm not sorry. And you can't make me be. So Jaden, thank you for being here tonight. Mark,
thank you, Nick.
I hope we got weird enough for you, buddy. To everybody watching, we love you. Stay on your goblin shit. Because as they say, what's a goon to a goblin?
Seeing goblins, appreciating goblins, succubus with goblins.
And we don't want no problem. Okay, you're a goon. What's a goon?